What's going on, family? It's Kevin and Jesse here again with you guys today, Elite State of Mind podcast. Jesse, how you doing today?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Doing well. Family, make sure you go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. We do appreciate every comment and share that you guys give us. Jesse, today what we're going to be talking about, something that is, I think, obviously it's been around since the beginning of time.
Right.
But maybe more prevalent in our day and age.
Okay.
Family, what we're going to get into is situationships, entanglements, and happiness. Jesse, when you hear or see or read about these things, what comes to mind?
Man, the first thing that came to my mind when we found out this is what we're going to be talking about is Will and Jada, man. We got to go ahead and throw it out here. We got to go ahead and we're going to jump right in that thing.
I feel so bad for Will.
And, yeah, man.
He's not getting jiggy with it anymore.
Not anymore. Wow, nothing. That's what's going on here, you know.
Right.
So yeah, man, that was something we knew that they had. Their dynamic is a little
strange,
different.
Yes.
Right. It's a little different. For them to be married, but yet they're still in a marriage situationship type of.
It's definitely a
vibe.
Yeah.
Right? A little different. So, well, first of all, I like their transparency.
Sure.
I gotta give them credit. Gotta give credit when credit's due. But, you know, for them to be sitting down at the red table and they're having a discussion, you know, Will got the, what Kevin Hart say? The I.E. that face, right? He had that face.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So he has that face sitting there, you know, to the side, and, you know, she's explaining what transpired between her and August Alsina and entanglement.
I mean, I will give her credit for using that word. That was a good word.
It's a very good word.
I mean, you know, because I think a lot of people were expecting her to be like, yeah, I cheated or we were together. And she was like, nah, I was just in a little entanglement.
Yeah.
I think it kind of threw Will for a loop. He was like,
what?
Entanglement. I think he wanted to cuss.
He did.
But, you know, he pulled himself back. I don't know. I don't know exactly how, you know, for Will, how he feels. It's kind of weird to, you know, to put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, on the other side, you know, you've heard Will come out and say, you know, he's had some, you know, some other endeavors in their relationship as well.
Right.
But it seemed like he was hurt.
Yeah, I think he was a little more hurt because it wasn't just a cheat. It was an entanglement, right? Because remember, we talked about before, maybe you could do a better job of explaining, you know, the idea, which comes from physics, right? The quantum entanglement.
Right. So the theory that some people have of the quantum entanglement is that, you know, the way, you know, that I believe it's these two atoms that once they become entangled, that no matter, you know, no matter how far they're separated across space and time, they are always bonded together. And so then in that it then says this is how we as humans experience love.
Yeah.
And it's not just the phileo love,
right?
Not just the eros love. I believe that, you know, the quantum of that is when you're in love. And I'll digress just for a moment. You know, a lot of people feel like it's, you know, that you can be in love, you know, with 96,000 people at the same time. In my opinion, you cannot. Because the energy that you have to give out, the energy that you have to put forth and towards, and like you've said before, the studying of an individual, and the monitoring and the care and the being there and being emotionally available and emotionally intelligent for this individual, it only happens with the person whom you're in love with.
Okay.
Because you're not in love with your parents.
No.
You love them.
Right.
But you're not in love with them. You're not in love with the kids.
Right.
You got a deep love for them. Yeah. You know, that's why they can tear up your house and you be like, hey, man, I'm not going to go ahead and choke the life out of you today. But I still love you.
Okay.
But that
Okay.
that in love, you give that person certain allowances.
Right.
You do some things. You allow that person to do some things to you that for other people would get them slapped.
Right.
Like I'm sure
Right.
that Will would probably slap some other folks.
Right.
But for Jada,
Not gonna do a thing.
I'm gonna cry my tears. I'm gonna, I'm gonna have the face. But because I'm in love with you,
Right.
I'm not gonna go ahead and lump you up.
Because it's active, right? We're talking about atoms. So the energy causes them to move because it's active,
Right.
right? He can have a love, right? He's been in love, so ex-wife maybe, and but it's not active.
Right.
Because it's not active, he's not going to react
The same way.
in the same way.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's for me, I think it one, it shows a maturity on his part, to be able to, one, have your business out there in the street.
Right.
Like you said, their transparency, I'm sure it's helped.
Oh yeah.
Some
For
other
sure.
people may be going through, the
Yeah.
same endeavor, whether it'll just allow them to, sit down at their own red table and have the talk and maybe put their cards out on the table and say, hey, do we want to keep this thing going, or are we gonna restructure our agreement, or what is it that we're gonna go do?
See, that's a good thing. I want to ask you about that. Okay, a lot of people will say, "Well, listen, I'm in this thing, and I'm not gonna put up with anybody's stuff. You're not gonna do me just any type of way, right?" But we're talking about long term, for life, death do us part. Here's the question that I would like to pose: if your person if they had a need, they come to you and say, listen, I love what we have going on. It's amazing, it's great, but I have an outside need just for a little while. Would you dismiss this person because of a momentary need, or would you be staunch in your stance and say, you know what, you can go ahead and get out there and go ahead and get all your stuff too, and get up out of here?
For me, it would definitely depend on what the need is.
Okay.
There are some, we have some, some different levels of threat,
Okay.
to the kingdom.
Okay.
Right? Some things that there may be a little sickness in the kingdom. Okay. There may be, some poverty in the kingdom. There may be, war coming against the kingdom. But if the kingdom from within inside itself now has to go to another kingdom to get their need met, well, first, let's sit down and talk about why you need that.
Okay.
Is it that I'm not providing this? Is it that I cannot do that? Because then my question is going to turn and say, is this one time going to satisfy this need for the rest of life?
You may.
Because if it does, let's talk about that.
Right.
If it doesn't, now we got a problem. And two, will you now obey the law of reciprocity?
Uh-oh.
Because if you cannot obey the law of reciprocity and respond in kind, when I myself might have a need from an outside entity, now you become selfish. And now it's not, oh, well, I just need this for a moment. It's, I need this, but I don't ever need you to go do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, the law applies to you, not me.
It's like, we had the conversation, with some young brothers, some years ago at the gym.
Yeah.
And they were, talking about doing some things, oh, well, you get a wife and do you go and have extra people in your marriage? And our standpoint was, well, you probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because, see, if you do that, right, for men, it's always, oh, yeah, that would be great. That would be dope. Let's bring somebody else in. But what do you say when she says, well, let's have Ricky come over?
Right. Then it's, whoa, wait a minute. Now we got to sit down and talk. How you going to do me like that?
Right.
Yeah.
What does Ricky have
that I don't have? See, therefore you don't ask them questions.
Hey.
Right? That's the old school player. Don't ask me no questions, I don't tell you no lies. So now you're going to ask her to lie to you because what does he have that I don't have? Now your feelings going to be hurt. Right? Because we don't take it as well as they take it.
Those
Now
are
your
facts.
feelings hurt. When she give it to you, well, let me tell you about Ricky.
those are facts. No one can hurt you
Yeah,
like the woman that's closest to you.
facts.
Dad might not nurture you like, he was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But when mom cut off that love,
You be sick.
man, oh my God. Mom, why you do me like this? This ain't right. You supposed to be my mom. I thought the Lord said he never leave me nor forsake me. And you forsaken me.
Well,
And then, you get your first time you fall in love.
yeah.
And the next thing you know, that love done ended. Oh my God. Like you say, you sick, you laid up in the bed for a couple weeks.
Somebody just throw me in the ditch.
Man, homies calling you, man, what's going on, bro? What's wrong?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, she got entangled with somebody else. It left me. I was in love. Nothing hurts like having that female hurt you. Because I don't think as men, we never let anybody as close as we let that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just, from my standpoint, you don't let anybody as close as you allow the person whom you're in love with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they, because they know all the things that are going to cut you deep.
Right.
They know your darkest secrets, your most intimate fears.
Yeah.
And they have a choice every day
Mm-hmm.
to either protect those things,
Yeah.
to keep them close,
Yep.
to, make sure that they don't use those things against you.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you do make them mad, when you do, don't wash the dishes one day. And then the next thing you know, you're just like your raggedy daddy.
Pretty much.
Or whatever, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And now you're hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
So
Very true.
back to why do you think that Jada felt the need for this entanglement?
Man, it could be a multitude of reasons, right? But I think it's something that we talked about a little earlier. Is the grass is always greener, like you said just a few minutes ago. It's always greener when you don't look at it every single day. He looks
Very
at Will
true.
every single day. I know what Will's about. I've been with Will 20-something years.
True.
Woo, woo, woo. We got these
kids.
Kids, yeah. Yeah, but this one over here,
Fresh cut.
Yeah, with
Fresh
the tats,
line up.
all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, the grass always looks greener when you're not over there every day.
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, because I spend so much time looking at the other grass, because I spend so much time gazing across the street, have I put the same amount of effort and energy into my grass? Now, in a lot of cases, you haven't.
Yeah, the answer's no.
But sometimes that ground can't grow.
Fallow ground.
Man,
Oh, no.
it ain't fertile.
Oh, no.
You put your house on shaky ground. And that's dangerous.
Very.
And you might need to go over to the land with the greener grass and give it a little run.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because when the ground can't grow,
Yeah.
it really serves no purpose other to just be.
Yeah. You might as well have some artificial turf.
Something that you can at least get some good routes in, But it's always, I think it's always a danger that, especially in today's society, because it's like we'll buy some grass or we'll move into a house and then I want to move a month later.
That's ridiculous.
Because this house is bigger.
Yeah.
Because this house had a extra sunroom.
Yeah.
And it's not that you should want or desire those things, but you can't judge your house after a month,
No.
because you can always add a room over here.
Sure
Now
can.
it's different when you've been in that house 10 years,
Yeah.
15, 20 years.
Yeah.
You get a little shaky.
You've done all the remodeling that you
Can be done.
do, right? Yeah.
So, I think, when we think about Jada and why she felt the need, like you said, maybe it was I don't know if this situation is going to give what I needed to give in this moment.
Right.
I don't know
Right.
if I'm going to be able to connect, or my vibration is going to be matched
Yeah.
by this individual
Yeah.
in
Sure.
this moment. And that, when you're not vibrating on the same level with either the person you're with, your friends,
Yeah.
something's got to give. Something's got to, because the frequencies don't match up.
Makes it difficult.
Very.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do we do when those, if you're Will and you're like, man, we're just not vibing, we're not clicking. Mm-hmm. How do you bounce back?
Man, I think it's, again, he has to be intentional to bring that old feeling back. What really got y'all together? Right? What really brought you together? What was it about her? Is it the fact that both of you all are sapiosexual individuals, and that, hey, you could read a book and, she's read the same book, and you're able to go back and forth and banter a little bit and actually get some good points from the particular book. Like you said, when we become grown individuals, that's pretty important.
It is.
Right? You just can't give me did you see this music video?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
What?
I stopped watching TRL a long time ago.
Like, what?
Shout out to old Carson Daly.
Right?
I remember Carson Daly, TRL's top 10.
Right? I think the best one was when they had old Cisco on there.
Old Cisco.
Yeah. So whatever it takes to get you back to that first love, that first point, right? That first point of love.
You got to go back and do your first work.
Right. Like anytime we read a map, man, there's a point of beginning, POB. Mm-hmm. So how did y'all get here? How did you get to your point of beginning? And no matter where you've gone, you can always go back to that point of beginning. And then, hey, we can retrace, and then get back on.
What if you can't find that point?
Well,
just like in some terrain, if the grass has grown over it, or the water is froze over this, you put a pin somewhere, or maybe you were in the desert and you were like, okay, but now the sand has shifted and you can't find the place where you started.
There has to be some type of landmark that is close. You might not get dead on spot, hey, but it got to be, we're in the vicinity. We get in the vicinity, then okay, we can point a direction. If it's so much so that they dropped a bomb on that thing and you can't find anything, I don't know. Maybe it's time to pick a new point and start fresh.
Can you start fresh with the same person?
It's possible, but I think both people have to be willing to actually do so. And here's the thing that we run into. A lot of times people say, yeah, we're going to start over fresh. And then a month later, when you piss them off, they get upset about something. Well, let me tell you what you did in 97.
Right. How you and Susie was going to the Dairy Queen.
We were like, wait a minute, I thought we were starting fresh. Yeah, start fresh on packing your stuff.
For sure.
Okay.
And at that point, you just got to pack your stuff. You got to pack your stuff. You got to get out that thing.
It'd definitely be unwise to continue to try to salvage something that the other person does not want to salvage.
Better to dwell in the housetop.
Right. Difficult.
So, how do you think August felt during this?
See, that's a good point.
From this entanglement, where obviously he had, feelings, he had emotions that were wrapped up in it, whether what he was doing, be it right or wrong, depending on what you believe.
Right.
You cannot change, what an individual, feels,
right.
And what their heart is now experiencing. Now, obviously, whatever emotions came along with that, consequences that came were on him.
Yeah.
For sure. Allowing himself to go into this endeavor. But what do you think his thought process was?
Man, that's a great question, because obviously, like you said, he felt there was some depth to his particular feeling, because this brother made a whole song.
Now, I'm going to digress real quick. If I'm Will, he going to have to see me. Like, Will, I thought you was from Philly.
Right, yeah, like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, you want to see me, dog. You gonna put me in the song Entanglement, and okay.
Yeah, that was a little deep. Like that's how I know. Like that brother, a lot of people were saying, hey, I don't know how, strong the feelings were, for him. It was strong enough that the player thought he needed to sing a song. You want to hear it? Here it goes. About what transpired between him,
right,
and Jada. And you getting it like I'm with you. Like, you know, like, listen, man, you didn't wrote this song. And you're giving details about, you know, what she looked like and how she feel. I'ma choke you. Like it's going down, bruh.
Yeah.
On site. We Tom and Jerry.
Hey, there ain't no words, ain't no what you want to do. Yeah. It's just, hey, when I smack you with this bat, just understand. And after that, it's gonna be all love.
Yeah. Yeah.
You make all the songs you want.
Yeah. Yep.
One thing that I wanna, you know, as we talked a little bit earlier about this was, you know, Will, you know, made a video some years ago, and a lot of people hopped on this train, and I can understand why. But when he talked about it's not his job or he's not responsible for Jada's happiness.
Yeah.
And again, in theory, I can understand where he's coming from.
Right.
Because yes, people should, you know, manufacture their own happiness.
Yeah.
You should be able to help yourself have good days.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. But if you're in love with this person, now it might be different for the bros. It might be different for just a homie, a friend, coworker. That no, I'm not responsible for you being happy. But the person whom I'm in love with, I take a responsibility for your happiness. And my standpoint on that is this: there are days you're just not gonna hit at 100. You're not gonna have it.
Okay.
And if I'm not every day clocking in, showing up to work to try to do things to make you happy, am I really in love with you?
I don't know. I feel like I'm like you to an extent. I'm going on the opposite side of my happiness is mine. Regardless of, you know, together in love, all that good stuff, that belongs to me. That has nothing to do with another person. And we run into trouble when we place the onus of our happiness on another individual.
Very true.
I'm going to give you, we're married. Okay, great. Here you go. Here's my happiness. I give it all to you. No.
Right.
No. Because then
people let you down.
Yeah, we expect for them to honor and to protect and all that our happiness. And no.
And they're not going to.
They're not going to. So, you know, we have to own that. We got to make sure that, like we've been saying all the time, you know yourself, you know your God, and you understand what it is that you need to be doing on a daily basis. And so if you know these things, then you can say when somebody comes along, hey, these are the things that I'm doing. These are the things that make me happy. So then, as you were saying, it's their job to go, oh, I'm paying attention. Oh, well, this makes her happy? Then I need to put forth an effort to make sure, hey, let me match. Let me match what you got going on. After a while of matching, hey, I've studied you enough, I can supersede that, right? And I can put forth an effort to take over, but it still belongs
to that
person.
Do you think in these situations, whether situationships and entanglements, you know, whatever the case may be, or if in you know the confines of the marriage, is it because this person has no longer allowed you to add to their happiness that you may, as you posed the question earlier, now seek another source, you know, for these things?
Yeah.
Or have you stopped trying? Have you stopped? This person kept evolving. You didn't study anymore.
Yeah.
You got volume 1, but this person's over here on volume 4.
Right.
So there are some new things. Obviously, volume 1 is the base.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
Good start.
Right. But you haven't picked up on the last 3 volumes of this person's growth. So you don't even know how to make this person happy anymore.
Yeah. I think it's the latter. I think with volume 1, I got it, baby. I'm comfortable. I got you.
Right.
I'm in that thing. Yeah. From front to back, back to front, everything in between. I got it. Like you say, people grow.
Right.
They evolve. You know, it's an ongoing thing.
Sure.
Like you said, so they're moving on to volume 4. You're still trying to meet the needs of volume 1. We got a problem.
Doing the basics.
Yeah.
The bare minimum.
Yeah, you got the bare minimum, and then you trying to figure out, well, I don't understand. They need to go out here and get this, you know, somebody who's read volume 3. in their own life. They've done it. So, oh yeah, I see. Oh, I see. You're on volume 4. Oh, how did you get there? See, now they're having a conversation to where your conversation is still on volume 1.
Stale.
It's old. And they're giving you the benefit of the doubt. You're like, you're still on volume 1. They give you the, all right, yeah, that's good.
Thanks.
Appreciate that. All right, Ricky, what you got for me?
Oh, Ricky. Ricky's
like,
back.
What you got? What kind of conversation? Right, the old fellas you say all the time. The conversation runs the nation.
That's true.
Right. So what are you at? You're still on volume 1. You can't be mad. She's on 4 and 5, and your language doesn't match her language. And then you get upset, right? When you get your walking papers.
Uh-oh, you got fired.
Do
you think people's love languages change?
They can. I think, like you said, at the base of them, their love language when you meet them is what it is.
Right.
Now, it has the ability, right, to grow more in whatever it is. If it's acts of service, they might need more service.
True.
Okay. And at some point in time along the way, as they progressed, they were like, listen, I love acts of service. I love gifts. Now I'm going to need some physical attention. That wasn't what you were 2 years ago. It doesn't matter.
Right.
This is where I am now.
Right.
I need this now. And here's the deal. Either you can do it, or I'm going to call Ricky.
I think, so often we don't look at our relationships, marriages, like we do our job. Right?
Yeah.
We will get into these things, and once we're in them, I stop.
Yeah.
I stopped showing up to work.
Yeah.
I stopped trying to do something to did what got me, because obviously you went from, oh, we're friends, we met, oh, now we're together, we're exclusive, and now we're married. You got promoted a couple times.
Right.
And you had to do some things to get this promotion.
Oh, for sure.
You had to ride with this person through some tough times, through some deaths in the family, through some, maybe them losing a job, maybe them going through a struggle. And you got to experience these ups and downs.
Yeah.
But then we feel like we reach the apex, the crescendo. I stopped showing up to work.
Yeah.
But I still expect to receive payment. I still expect every 2 weeks to check my account and you pay me what I need.
Yeah.
But I haven't been getting the flowers. I haven't been a safe space. I haven't been, these other things that are necessary.
Yeah.
Like you said, in the basis.
Yeah.
Why do we stop going to work? Why do we just stop clocking in? Why do we become complacent?
I think it's more so just because that is the normal progression. When the reality is, none of us were called to be normal.
Sure.
Right? The whole idea behind it, the commitment and the marriage model was not one of normalcy, but to be abnormal. Most people will just go ahead and do it and be like, I won. That's it. But who doesn't want to be the GOAT? Who doesn't want to be back-to-back 3 times, and do it twice? You go down as the greatest.
Of all time.
Of all time.
I love that Tom Brady quote. He said, what's better than this ring? The next one.
The next one. Right?
Even though I hate Tom Brady.
I can't stand that guy.
Man, I dislike him so much. But
he's a winner.
Man, he's a proven.
He's a winner.
Proven winner. And when it's like, you reached the Super Bowl. Oh, this was nice. Oh, man, this is great. I don't think I want to come back.
Yeah.
And it's because of the amount of work it took. Like you say, you talk about Mike going, back to back 3 times. Took a lot of work.
Yeah.
Took a lot of sacrifice. And so to reach getting married, it took a lot of work. It took a lot of time that you and this individual put in together.
Right.
And now
you stop working.
No, I'm good.
It should be the other way around.
I'm okay. And then when you get entangled, I'm mad.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have shut down on you because I have, done nothing to make myself desirable.
Right. Oh, my gosh. Stay right there. stay right there. Yeah. Yeah. That I've done nothing. Here's the thing. You got somebody who said, yeah, I'm on the squad. I want a long term. Give me the multi-year contract extension. Okay? Pay me out over these 10 years. And you do absolutely nothing. You sign them and go, yeah, that's it. Don't think any other team in the league is going to come after them. They're a high performer. In the words of Dickie V, they're a PT-peer, baby.
PT-peer, baby.
But you're just going to, oh, yeah, you're all right. You're all right.
I mean, in the NBA, there's always somebody getting fined for tampering.
Pretty much.
Hey, man, you want to come play on the squad?
Pretty much.
We love how you do. We can probably win the chip with you over here.
You know you look good in this Golden State. Huh? You did this thing. You shut down Kobe a couple years ago.
Yeah. Everybody was mad at Anthony Davis. But the Pelicans wasn't doing nothing for him.
They weren't doing a thing.
And no matter what you want to say about them having to play in the bubble, the bubble championship,
whatever,
he will go down forever as an NBA champion.
NBA champion. Right?
But you drafted him. He loved the city.
Yes. Everything about it.
And the next thing you know,
you look up. Is he in purple and gold?
The tradition.
Yeah.
The luster. The banners and the rafters.
Yep.
And I think it goes to this, that kings and queens recognize each other.
Yeah.
And it's and I say that from you see kings will obviously recognize other kings, queen will recognize other queens, but even across the board, we will recognize each other. And there's a level of respect, that we have for that. Yeah. But it's like any business. How can if I made $1 million this year, well, how can I make 5 next year?
Well, okay. Well, one of the ways you make 5 is to make sure you keep yourself up. How you get signed, and then you pull a Jamarcus Russell. You eat your way out of the league.
Oh man, you eat, don't study. That's probably one of my favorite stories.
Right, I know it.
When Jamarcus, man, how was you watch those blitz pickups? Yeah, man, I watched them all. Which ones did you like? All of them. Let's run them all. You know that tape was blank, right? And he got caught not studying. Had all the physical tools. I remember old Mel Kiper, even though he does not know anything about what he's talking about.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, Jamarcus Russell, if he doesn't go down in the Hall of Fame, I'll quit my job. Well,
Mel,
he's not going to the Hall of Fame, and they need to get you off ESPN today. But so, like you said, we get that contract, we get that, we get signed by the team, and the next thing you know, I'm good.
Yeah, it's all right. We don't take the Mamba mentality to these committed relationships. We don't. You say you do the bare minimum, you just like everybody else. But if I get up and get 3 more sessions, before everybody else is up, so instead of getting 3 sessions, I got 6 sessions in
for the day
for 20 years. That's why you got 2 jerseys retired.
2.
Yeah, not 1, but 2.
2. Had 2 Hall of Fame careers.
Right.
1 3-peat and then one, then won 2 more titles. Yep.
That's because I'm willing to do the work, willing to do what's necessary to make sure that I'm getting better.
Let me, as we digress just for a little bit, and we go back to the Will and Jada situation. What do you think was the difference in her relationship with Pac, and she got the Tupac shirt on?
Yes.
And her relationship with Will?
Well, as we stated earlier, we know for a fact Jada respected Pac. We know for a fact. We understand how, Pac carried himself. One being a poet, a wordsmith.
Man.
Right? Everybody thinks, thug life, woo. Yeah, if he needed to.
Right.
Yeah. But more often than not, he was trying to engage in some type of intellectual conversation for the betterment of him, his community, his people, right? So I don't know of any grown woman who really wouldn't appreciate someone like that. Will is highly intelligent, right?
Yes.
We understand that he turned down MIT, right? But there's an element and an edge in which he's missing that Pac exuded every single day. Right? So when you're looking through the particular lens, there was no doubt that Pac had the ability to protect, to provide, to teach, right? And so while Will may be hitting on that one element right there, that edge.
He doesn't have.
No. No.
I think for me, I look at it from this standpoint. I think, in life, you're going to meet a bunch of people. As you told me when I was getting ready to go to UCO, hey man, enjoy yourself. You're gonna meet a bunch of people, make a bunch of friends. It's gonna be fun. Enjoy your college experience. And in life, in relationships, you're gonna have different relationships with different people, and there are gonna be some relationships where you and this person, you find some commonalities. And you're like, oh, okay, I like this about this person. I can deal with with this foolishness, and we're gonna grow together. And that one, it works well, and you guys work at it, over time, and you end up having that relationship of longevity, and it does, and it works out well. But then I think on the other side, and I'm not gonna say it only happens once, but I feel like there is a few instances where you will bond in the spirit with an individual. And it's like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, you just go together. And if one is without the other, people feel like this is off. This isn't right.
Okay.
And so for me, maybe I think about, her and Pac. They bonded in the spirit.
Yeah.
And just flowed like a river.
Different level, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just
different level. Yeah.
And there was nothing that could stop the river from getting to where it needed to go.
Yeah.
And that one's not that one doesn't take work.
Right.
But because you and this individual just mesh so well
energy
together,
flow is just dope.
Yeah. You just take off in an expedient manner. And her and Will are that we got to grind, we got to work some things out.
Yeah.
We got to, we're going to come to some points of contention that, in this other probably wouldn't have came to.
No.
You're going to have some, but not as many.
Yeah, not as many.
Right? And I do want to just, for a moment, family, when you find that person that you bond in the spirit with, you better move heaven and earth to try to make sure that thing works out.
Yeah.
Because those things are rare, they're special. And you don't find them all the time.
Right.
When you can have a best friend, a homie, a lover, a partner in crime.
Yeah.
Somebody to sit up and be goofy with, where you can be your true
authentic self.
To thine own self be true.
Right. Facts.
And I think that's where, like you said, there's just that one thing missing. And it's on the level of, in the spirit, do we connect?
Yeah.
So, it's crazy to think about, how her life has changed and shifted.
Oh yeah.
Over the years.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes maybe, I wish you wouldn't drag my guy Will.
I know.
As much. There was, I feel bad for him because I grew up listening to Will and watching Fresh Prince and it was like, one of your idols. You're like, man, this cat is, it just seems like a really great dad and
multifaceted, multi-talented.
Never had to cuss in his raps.
Right.
Just a super clean guy. You're just like, man, do nice guys always finish last?
That's going to be another topic for another podcast. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to save that one for another one. I can't even. Woo.
And so I just, hopefully they can work that thing out and maybe, I think sometimes transparency is good, but you got to keep some things in-house.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So that maybe his, he's not, so hurt in behind some of these escapades that take place.
And her too, because it's hurting her as well.
Sure.
Hurting her brand, hurting her value, hurting people taking shots at her character, which is unfair.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's her being human, and she's having a human experience. You wanna just talk down and talk bad just because she has the wherewithal to be able to say, man, this is what I feel.
Right.
This is how I'm feeling. This is what I did because based upon how I was feeling and what I thought, and after we had a discussion, because nobody knows Here's the thing. Nobody knows, speculation. Nobody knows what they have come to talk about and to agree, you know?
For sure.
So, it was one of those things that maybe possibly you took a little too far. That's what it seemed from the interview, right?
Right. Hey, okay. Let's rein this thing back in a little bit. Get it back into, what we're comfortable with in the confines of our relationship and how we've set up those parameters.
For sure. Yeah.
One thing before we get out of here, Jesse, what I do, we talked about when people get signed or you accept a job, they give you a contract.
Yes.
And they go over the parameters of these things. But normally, that contract has an expiration date.
Right.
Or, it has a time where you're going to go back for an evaluation. Why don't we, we've talked about how people don't honor the contract.
Right.
But so obviously if it's not giving to you what you feel it's supposed to have gave, when you come back to the negotiating table, why you sign up on the same deal?
I don't know.
Why it's not working for you? Why don't you renegotiate that thing?
Yeah.
And try to make it more beneficial for both parties?
You should. All things are negotiable. It should be. Right? Like you said, you agreed upon this. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Sign here. You sign here. Great. It's not working. So, okay. We got to figure out where and why it isn't working. And then we adjust said contract accordingly. Do both parties agree to the adjustments? Yeah, we shall continue. Right? That's the re-sign period, right? It happens every couple of years. If you're on a year-to-year or you're on a 10-day, whatever it is,
right?
You got to be able to come back and sit down and negotiate it, because you don't get what you ask for, you get what you negotiate for.
Very true.
Right? So sit down and actually have a real conversation. And that's where people are getting in trouble. We're not having a real conversation. What do you really need?
Right. I think that's one thing you can take from Will and Jada.
Yeah,
is that they,
sure.
Whether they did it at the red table or, like you said, maybe behind closed doors, they sat down and put everything out there.
Yeah.
So you can see, do we have till death do us part? Do we have till the end of eternity? What do we have? Yeah. Or do we have hey man, it's been nice.
So here's the thing, well, what's required? See, when you hit the little bumps in the road or whatever, okay, we're back here at the table. Hey, what's required now? What can we adjust to make sure we make it to where we said we're going to go? We want to make the championship? Okay. Well, sometimes players are required to restructure their contract to move some money around so that we can sign somebody else or bonus somebody else to make sure the team stays strong.
Right.
So it's something definitely to be considered.
Family, we sure do appreciate you guys tuning in with us today. We know today would not have been what it was had you not taken out the time to listen. And again, please, if you like, follow, and subscribe and share, we do appreciate every comment you guys give us. As always, our goal is to listen, learn, and grow. You guys have a great day. With this, there are two things. When I drop my daughter off at school every morning, there's a thing that we say. And she says, I am princess. I am great because God loves me. Then she says, I will be happy, healthy, and walk in my